Now, hundreds dead, cities burning, and the world watching in fear. This is not just another conflict, this is a war which was decades in making. I'm talking about the Israel and Lebanon war. From the streets of Beirut to the borders of Israel, a single spark could ignite a regional war. And Iran war was much more than that. But how did it all begin? Why are Israel and Lebanon locked in this cycle of violence again and again? If you've been hearing news. Today, to understand this war, we must go back to where it all started. The roots of the conflict go back to 1948 when the state of Israel was created. Yes, it goes back to that. Many Palestinians fled or were forced out during the Arab Israeli War of 1948. Around 1 lakh plus Palestinian refugees moved into Lebanon. These refugee camps later became politically and militarily sensitive zones. This created long term tension between Israel and Lebanon. Even though Lebanon itself was not a major direct battlefield at first, but later on it got involved into it. It's a long history. Now, rise of armed groups in 1960s and 1970s. Now, Palestinian militant groups like the Palestine Liberation Organization began operating from South Lebanon. They launched attacks in northern Israel, uh, and Israel responded with airstrikes and raids. At the same time, Lebanon fell into Lebanese civil war, making the country unstable and allowing armed groups to grow. This was the civil war between the Muslims in the country and the Christians. Now, Israel then invaded Lebanon in 1982. Looking at all these internal crises, Israel launched a major invasion of Lebanon in 1982, to push out the PLO. Israeli forces reached Beirut actually. Okay, they reached there, but then they withdrew. The PLO leadership was forced to leave Lebanon. The war caused heavy destruction and civilian casualties. And also, this period also saw the controversial Sabra and Shatila massacre. The rise of Hezbollah. This happened in the period of 1980s to 2000. Now, after the invasion, generally when someone invades, there's an uprising within. So this was the rise of Hezbollah. After invasion, a new powerful group, Hezbollah, emerged, backed by Iran. Okay, that's why Israel has this existential crisis situation as with regard to Iran. It's at the core of Iran. So, backed by Iran, Hezbollah fought Israeli forces in South Lebanon. Israel occupied a security zone in South Lebanon for years, and constant guerrilla warfare happened here. Now, by 2000s, Israel finally withdrew from South Lebanon, but tensions did not end. By 2006, a major war broke out. Hezbollah captured Israeli soldiers. Israel launched massive airstrikes across Lebanon. Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets into Israel. It had got armed, fired thousands of rockets into Israel. So, this firing of lots of ammunition and all that, this current war is not surprising for history watchers. The conflict lasted about 34 days, okay, causing widespread destruction on both sides. Now, recent tensions, which is from 2010s to 2026, Hezbollah has grown strongly with advanced weapons and capability to fight long wars. This war also, if you pay attention, lasted 40 days. Now, frequent border clashes, drone attacks, and missile exchanges became a norm. The conflict intensified during broader Middle East tensions involving Iran, because Iran always backed Hezbollah. As of 2026, the situation remains highly volatile with periodic strikes and risk of full-scale war. So the core issue at its heart is this conflict is about security threat, Israel versus armed groups like Hezbollah, and territory and border issues. Also regional power struggle, involving Iran and others. So this war is not new. Historical grievances remain from decades of war between Israel, Iran, and Lebanon.